Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Bitter Rivals podcast. This is episode 58. It is about a week into the playoffs now. And obviously, that means we don't have a whole lot of Montreal topics today because they're not in the playoffs. But we do have some Leafs to talk about. Pretty much the worst possible game that you could draw up for the Toronto Maple Leafs last night. The game before that, though, Jack Campbell stood on his head, and he was fantastic. Had some depth scoring, goal from Morgan Riley, David Camp, I believe, and I forget who scored the other one. But regardless, it was a win, and now the series is 2-2. And there was a lot of overreaction to the game last night because, to be honest with you, it was horrible on all fronts. Goaltending, defense.
Any time you lose a game like that, doesn't matter if it's the Leafs or not. There's always going to be overreaction to how bad in quotations it was.
Yeah, but I think if you would have told Sheldon Keefe that he was going to take one of the games in Tampa, he'd be happy with that, and he did take one of the games.
I'm pretty sure if you offered any Leafs fan 2-2 after 4 games, they would take it.
Yes, so I think that's. I've been saying I think this is going to be a series. I thought this was going to be a series that's going to go later into the first round than other series. They're two very evenly matched teams, and the playoffs so far have been strange. Like when it comes to officiating, there's been some normally the issue is that they don't call anything. It seems that they're calling some really ticky-tacky garbage stuff, especially considering the precedent they've set for themselves in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, and that's like the weird thing for me is like, well, I mean, like it's nice that they're calling the book. It's almost like they've done it in reverse. Like they started the year calling literally nothing. And as the year has progressed, they've called more and more, which is usually the exact opposite. Usually they start the year super strict, and then by the time you get to playoffs, it's a free-for-all unless you like murder a guy.
Yeah, it's been really interesting. That's been, I think, a very big part of the playoffs so far and especially the Leaf series, is they haven't really had an opportunity to get their groove going at 5-on-5 because it's been a parade to the penalty box on both sides. Like last night, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really remember a whole lot from last night. I've tried to mentally block it out, but we must have taken like 8 or 9 penalties. Like that is just way too many.
Not even your series. So I was watching the Boston Carolina series the other day, their game 4, and like I watched from about 10-minute mark of the second period all the way through. And I don't think there was more than like 2 or 3 minutes of 5-on-5 like play before there was a penalty called. Like for 30 minutes, like that's how it was. It was nuts. And I mean, in that series, most of the penalties were like you kind of have to call them.
Yeah, there's been some in the Leaf series. There's been some really, really ticky-tacky stuff, and like just like the one penalty, I think it was Brody on the Nick Paul goal or Nick Paul break at the net in not last game, the game before, game 3, where Jack Campbell made an outstanding save, but I have no idea where the penalty, I forget if it was Muzzin or Brody, but one of them, I have no idea where the penalty was. Like, no idea. He got called for hooking, and I was like, what? Like, it didn't make any sense to me at all, especially in the third period of a 3-2 hockey game in the playoffs. I don't know. That was a little aggressive. There's been some other ones that have been kind of cheap, but like here's the thing, and this is what's been driving me nuts, is it seems that if they're gonna call ticky-tacky stuff, it's not both ways. They'll only call it one way.
Yeah, and that's bullshit.
Yeah, like if you're gonna it's a penalty, it's a penalty. It doesn't matter what sweater the guy's wearing, like what jersey the guy's got on. And I don't know. They're still not as consistent as you want them to be, but it's just in a different way now.
Yeah. Can we talk about the Kyle Clifford quickly?
Yeah, sure. I didn't think it was worthy of 5 in a game to begin with. I didn't think it was worthy of a suspension either. And the reason he got a suspension is because of the high stick, which was just a bop on Corey Perry's head like 2 weeks prior.
Okay, so we'll start with the bop, because the bop was fucking hilarious.
It was fantastic.
Because they're like, it's definitely a penalty. It's definitely a fine because you cannot do that. But it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. And that definitely factored into him getting suspended for that game. Because that's basically a 2-game suspension, right?
Well, that's it. Like, if you're not playing Tampa, if you had got like Boston or Florida in the first round, I don't think he gets a suspension for the hit. but because he bopped Corey Perry and you're playing Tampa right now, definitely factored in.
Yeah.
I definitely think that the hit was bad. I don't really.
I don't think it was. I think it was a
much
2-minute
of a
boarding penalty. Like that's what I think it was. I think it was a 2-minute boarding penalty. To be honest with you.
And I mean, like, that's things we can sit here and like argue all day because like we definitely know it's a bad hit, right? Like it's definitely.
It wasn't clean, but it wasn't 5 in a game and then another game suspension. There's no way.
Yeah, I definitely didn't agree with the suspension. I thought like, again, in the playoffs, like it's a bad hit. You know, I think 5 in the game was enough. Was strict enough.
I think it was 2. Like,
yeah,
I just do. But and you're entitled to your opinion. I just don't think. First of all, there was no injury on the play.
Yeah.
Second of all, it was a hockey play. Like it wasn't like I don't know. Anyway.
Anyways, I just like we both agree it's a bad hit. It's just how bad is kind of up for debate. Which, I mean, it's nice to see that the Department of Player Safety is at least paying attention in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Even if it's just against the Leafs,
Yeah.
So you want to go to Washington, Florida?
Okay.
Because that has not turned out at all how I thought it has been through 3 games.
So what's that series? That 2-1 Washington?
2-1 Washington, and they had a blowout win, I think, yesterday or the day before. I think it was 5 or 6-1.
It was the day before last, yeah.
Just I have no idea what is going on in this series. It's not at all what I thought we were going to get.
Well, let's be honest. I think the only team in the NHL that hasn't won a playoff round other than the Toronto Maple Leafs since 1996 is the Florida Panthers. Right? So, I don't know. I think they're choking under pressure. I really do. I really believe that.
Yeah, I think a little bit.
You have a team like Washington who's won a Stanley Cup, who's made lots of playoff runs, who's gone through the disappointment and the failure already. They're just playing, Yeah. So
So game 1 was 4-2 Washington. Game 1 was 5-1 Florida, which I expected a little more, and then on Saturday it was 6-1 Washington win.
Yeah, a lot of the games have been blowouts, eh?
Oh yeah, this is like one of the most like high scoring playoffs like so far. Which I mean, we were talking about it at the end of the regular season. It was a really high scoring regular season. It's kind of just carried over. It's kept going.
Yeah.
A big part of that though is how many goalies have we seen in these playoffs already? Between injuries and fucking guys getting fucking slapped around and having to get fucking having to go to your backup goalie, we've seen like almost every goalie possible, I think.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen Brian Elliott for Tampa. That's about it.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure like every other team's had their backup in at least at some point.
Yeah, well, the Leafs had Shalgren in last night, right after we went down 5. Sorry.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it's been a crazy season for scoring, and I think a lot of it in the regular season also had to do with the lack of elite goaltending in the NHL.
Yeah.
There just isn't that much good goaltending anymore. Like, remember at one point we had like Brodeur, Luongo, Lundqvist, Price,
Fleury, Jonathan Quick
in his prime, Corey Crawford in his prime.
Even what's his face? Corey Schneider.
Schneider was elite.
For like a season and a half, he was fucking unreal.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. And like you just don't have that deep of a rot. Like UC Saros is up for Vezina this year.
Yeah.
That's a little crazy.
He's nah.
Yeah. So that's what I think actually has a lot to do with the uptick in scoring is goaltending just isn't that good anymore.
Yeah. Is goaltending not good anymore, or are the players getting better, the forwards getting better?
Well, I think it's probably a little bit of both. But one we didn't even mention there, Pekka Rinne.
Oh my god.
Like elite for a long time, was straight up elite goaltending in the NHL.
And, he didn't really tail off either. He just kind of once he's kind of stopped being elite, he just retired, which I think is a fucking ballsy move.
Pekka Rinne, yeah.
Yeah. Because think about it, he only retired at the end of last season? Or the season before?
I think it was the end of last season.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years ago, you would have said Pekka Rinne is, one of the better goalies in the NHL.
Definitely. Definitely. So anyway, moving on from that series that we were originally talking about there, let's move on to another Eastern Conference series, the Rangers and Penguins.
Man, I fucking love playoff overtime so much. We got triple OT on day 2 of the playoffs.
Yeah, that was pretty special.
And like I hate it because I like to go to bed early and but there's nothing more fun than fucking playoff overtime.
Yeah, I can't.
I was talking to one of my coworkers about it. Like, it's so much better just in the regular season. It's just throw your best 3 players on for fucking 3 of the 5 minutes and hope for a break. Whereas like in the playoffs, like you have to play hockey. You have to roll 4 lines. You have to play like real hockey to win. And again, speaking of goaltending, fucking Louis Domingue having to come into the game in, I think, double overtime.
Not the best.
Pardon?
Not the best.
No. But like just like nutty shit. Loved it.
Yeah, so the best part about that, let's be entirely real here, was after the game, Louis Domingue is doing a post-game interview with Emily Kaplan of ESPN. And he lets out the fact that he had a meal between the first and second overtime. When asked, and you could see he was concerned. Like you could see already that he was like, eesh. And then she goes, "What was it?" in the most hilarious French accent ever. He goes, "Spicy pork and broccoli." And then he follows it up with the best one-liner of all time. Not the best. It was so funny.
Oh man, that was hilarious, but it was also really interesting because that's not something I would expect. Like I've heard the stories of like teams getting like pizza and like lots of like fruits like bananas and shit to keep them going through that.
It was the team's post-game meal.
Oh shit! I didn't even know that.
Yeah. And the best part is, so that was in MSG, am I right?
Yes.
So then the media meal for the media in Pittsburgh, the number one thing on the menu was spicy pork and broccoli. It's fantastic. Louis Domingue. Oh, that was awesome. That's
been a banger of a series too. Like
and Casey DeSmith coming out of that game was absolutely crazy to me.
Oh,
like obviously.
He
ended up getting surgery. Like it was serious. It was a very serious thing, but like I've never seen that before in my life. Like it wasn't crazy that he made it. Like he didn't have a decision to make. He had to come out. But like the fact that he had to come out was just outrageous. Like how does that happen? Like I don't know.
Of all the times for that to happen as well too. Like, and then Boston and Carolina. Absolute shit show of a series. Like just bonkers, and I love it. So Carolina slapped Boston in the first 2 games, 5-1 and 5-2. Boston came back with 4-2 and 5-2 wins, or 2-2 through 4.
That's a 2-2. That's a 2-2 series, eh? I really thought, honestly, after the first 2 games, I thought Carolina was running away with it.
Oh, so did I. I was a little upset because I knew I was like, that's my bracket busted right there. Fucking first round.
Yeah, no. I Carolina came out of the gate flying.
Oh yeah.
But
well, it's like we said with Boston. They have that core of guys, Bergeron, Marchand, Pastrnak, that like when it gets to the playoffs, you can't count them out. There could be fucking 2 minutes left. They could be down 10 goals, and you just can't count them out from fucking pulling it back because they find a way. They always do.
Yeah, they're wild.
Almost always.
The Bruins are absolutely wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm still hoping for the Carolina victory there. I don't think Boston's going to beat them in a 7-game series. It depends really though what the goaltending situation is, and that's both teams, right?
Yeah.
Because you got some questionable goaltending on the Bruins side, and then you should have a good goaltender, but Leafs fans will know that Freddie Anderson, you can't rely on him come playoff time. No. He's hurt. He's not playing.
Yeah, it was Antti Raanta was in net for the last game, I believe.
Yeah, he was. So, yeah, that it's disappointing, but what are you going to do, right?
Like, for the sake of my bracket, I would like to see the Bruins go through, but as a Habs fan, I would love to see them fucking get destroyed these next 2 games.
Fuck the Bruins.
Also, just a quick one on that. It's incredible how Brad Marchand has got the entire hockey world behind him by going after Tony DeAngelo.
That was pretty funny. that was the funniest thing he's ever done, for sure.
All right, you want to shift over to the West?
Yeah, we can shift over west now.
Well, we'll start with the easy one. Colorado's up 3-0 on Nashville. That series is done tonight.
Yeah, that one will probably be finished tonight, and then Colorado's going to get a good rest.
Yep.
Going into the playoffs, or going into the second round. Sorry.
Yeah, there's really not much else to say about that series. Yeah.
We'll leave that one as is. The Minnesota-St. Louis series, I haven't been paying a whole lot of attention to, but what I have seen has been very, very interesting and good hockey.
Oh, banger of a fucking series so far. Just kind of like the Boston, or not Boston, the New York Rangers and Pittsburgh, just like really, really good hockey games. Like really enjoyable as a neutral. So St. Louis won game 1 4-0. Minnesota won 6-2. Minnesota won 5-1, and then St. Louis won 5-2. So a lot more high scoring than I thought from these 2 teams, but
yeah, I think that's again a goaltending thing. Marc-Andre Fleury hasn't been great from what I've watched, and St. Louis is running a kind of 1A, 1B with Bennington and Husso. So
yeah,
not a whole lot of puck stopping going on there.
No, not a lot at all. But I mean, hey, it makes it real fun for us.
Yeah, and Kirill's having a series too, and I love Kirill. So that's fantastic. But moving over to, we can do Edmonton-LA next. Edmonton-LA's been a good series. That one's at 2-2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. 2-2.
Did Edmonton just blow them out, or was it a relatively close game?
So we've got a 4-3 Kings win, a 6-0 Edmonton win, an 8-2 Edmonton win, and then a 4-0 Kings win.
Okay, that's an interest. Like, that's what I mean. Everything's been so arbitrary and random in this playoff.
And I mean, like, I'm not surprised that the Oilers are scoring a lot with the offensive weapons they have in McDavid and Draisaitl. But I mean, like, Evander Kane put up a hat trick in Game 3. Like, where did that come from? Who had that in their fucking predictions? LA's goaltending, just been fucking kind of dog shit.
Yeah, well, and actually the first game, Jonathan Quick played really well.
Yeah.
So, again, inconsistent. Guy's old. What are you going to do? And lastly, we'll go Stars and Flames, which this is a little bit of a shocker.
Yeah, because this is a lot closer than I think we ever thought it was going to be.
Well, Dallas is up.
Yeah, Dallas is up 2-1. So Calgary won game 1, 1-0. Dallas won game 2, 2-0, and then Dallas won game 3, 4-2. So this is probably like the only playoff series that isn't completely fucking off its rockers.
Yeah.
Like, this is normal playoff hockey.
Yeah. Well, and want to know what I think is going on with Calgary in that series? Like, just to touch on it quick.
Yeah.
I think they've been playing a playoff type game all year, and they don't have anywhere to elevate to.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate, I would say.
I think that they've been playing that same way all year, and Dallas is through it. Like, they've elevated their game. They're throwing a different look at Calgary, and Calgary didn't have anywhere that they could really take their game that's different from what they've been doing all year.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, I think so. And I mean, you've limited one of the best offensive teams in the league this year to 3 goals over 3 games. Like, Calgary's got to score more goals. Like, they just have to find a way. Matty Tkachuk, Elias Lindholm, Gaudreau. Like, you had 200-point guys in that team, a 40-goal scorer. Like, and you have 3 goals in 3 games. Like, you got to find. That's going to change if they want to go through.
100%, I would agree with that. I really wanted to touch on a few things, just Leaf-related, few individuals.
Yep.
So, first of all, I think, particularly last night, it showed that Justin Holl was in the lineup and Timothy Liljegren wasn't.
Yeah.
And so and that's, like, you want to just live with it. And I understand that Timmy's younger and he doesn't have the experience that Justin Holl does, but that doesn't make Justin Holl a better player.
Well, I think the experience thing is a bit of a factor, but if an experienced player playing like shit, or you have a young guy without that experience plays like shit, it's better to have the young guy do it because at least he's then learning. You know what I mean?
I think for tomorrow night, I think it makes the most sense to put Liljegren back in the lineup with Giordano. I know this is going to probably, like, people are going to be very upset about this because you don't want to pay somebody this much money to be on your third line, but John Tavares needs to take a step back.
Yeah.
He has been atrocious. He skates in cement. I've always said that. He's never been the kind of guy that, like, he's a tight areas kind of guy.
Yeah.
On the boards in front of the net, he's not going to beat you to the outside.
No.
And he is getting exposed like bad. And through the first two games, you could say, and it's a bullshit excuse, but you could say, you know what? That's okay. He's going out there and he's winning almost every face-off that he's been a part of. The past two games, that has not been the case. He's lost some absolutely crucial draws. I don't know if I don't know what I would say there. Because it's difficult. How do you take him off the second line?
Yeah. And I mean, who do you put on the second line there instead of him?
Well, you're probably going to center that line now with Kerfoot. And then you'll have Nylander and Engvall on the sides. And that takes Kerfoot off of the top line where he's been playing quite well. And you're going to put Bunting back there, who just was hurt coming in. So he's you can tell he's a step behind. So, I don't know.
Yeah, because it's the top. Yeah, he's paying what, 11, 10 something?
11.8?
Yeah.
Or 11.5. 11.5.
Yeah, that's hard to swallow, asking your 11 or like putting your 11.8 or 11.5 guy on the third line.
It is, but he's just not producing, and because he's so slow, he's a liability out there to have that much ice time. He's been a liability, and you just can't have it. He's getting outplayed by who he has to match up against. The Steven Stamkoses and the Nikita Kucherovs of the world are outplaying him.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It really is, and you hate to see it, but I don't know what the hell else. What the other option.
You can't scratch him, right?
No, you're not going to scratch him. But man, it's hard to watch sometimes. Some of the egregious plays he makes. William Nylander last night, last night was the most prototypical William Nylander game. He has a couple plays, including one specifically that he didn't make an effort.
Oh, was that the one on like it looked like the icing there, where he just completely backed out of that hit?
Yes, and he does that, and that everybody knows you cannot have that in the playoffs. You need to go for that puck, right? Like, you're not going to win like that.
No.
But he does that and then scores 2 goals.
Yeah.
That's just the most prototypical William Nylander game to have, is absolutely butcher a forecheck that is an easy one to make. At least try to get a stick on the puck.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's Eric Chernak. Yeah, he's a big boy, but that's not Victor Hedman. Just go. Just do it.
Yeah. Or I mean, if you want to make the smart play and be the second man in there, pin him to the boards and fight for the puck. But he just straight up gave up on it.
Yeah, he just gave up.
He just literally let Chernak just take the puck and fucking start the breakout. It was hilarious.
Yeah. It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
So that has to change as well. Obviously, another one you're not going to scratch. He scored 2 goals for you later in the game, and obviously it was too late at that point. But and actually, quickly back to Tavares, the penalty that Sergachev took on him, where Sergachev honestly just brushes his chest, and Tavares throws his head back like he got shot and draws a penalty. John, it's 5-0. We don't fucking need a power play right now. I know what we need is our captain to punch him back. That's what we need, John. I don't know. And that's what has us feeling like we always feel at this time of year. They're going to fucking blow it again. And I don't think that's going to happen. I still think we win the series, but I can understand why a lot of fans are thinking that. Like, because last night they had an opportunity to go up 3-1 in a series that they could take a stranglehold on that series if they win last night. They take both games in Tampa. That would be huge.
Yeah, because you're coming back to Toronto for elimination game. Like that's
But Tampa came out with that killer instinct. They smelled blood, and we didn't. And that's the same thing that has happened in every critical situation every year. And I can see why people are frustrated. Do I still think we're going to win the series? Yes, I do. Do I think Jack Campbell's probably going to have to steal us another game? Yes, I do. Like he stole game 3 from them? Yes, absolutely. Do I think Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner need to step it up and score at 5-on-5? Yes, I do. I absolutely believe that. They need to outplay a line that is spearheaded by Anthony fucking Cirelli. I'm sorry, he's a good player. They are outshooting us 22-5 when those two lines are up against each other. I forget who the other two are on that line. I think it's Palat and maybe Killorn. I don't know. I fucking forget.
See, but that line, like to me, that's a playoff line. Like that is, it's there's no metric to fucking like to put it in. You know what I mean? But that's a playoff line.
I understand what you're saying, but they're matched up against a line with the best goal scorer on the planet today, and one of the top 5 passers in the game today.
Yeah, no, I get that.
They need to outplay that line. They absolutely do. They cannot be getting outshot 22-5. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable for Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. And are they going to need to pick that up if we want to win this fucking series? Absolutely. Is our captain going to need to start producing at some level, at least a little bit offensively? Abso-fucking-lutely. And not when it's already 5-0. And that's the state of the Leafs currently right now. Is Jack Campbell going to have to steal us a game? Probably. He probably is. Can he? Yes, absolutely. He already has. He's outplayed Vasilevsky so far. Up until last night, he outplayed Vasilevsky in the series.
Last night, to be fair, like neither of them has set the goaltending bar very high in this series, if we're being honest.
Not at all. Well, Game 3 was the best goaltending game in that series from Jack Campbell, I would say.
Yeah, so, I can't argue.
Like last night, the Leafs did not test Vasilevsky until 10 minutes into the third, and when they did, he fucking allowed 3. So, like I'm telling you, Gitano, they maybe had 3 scoring chances the entire game up until that point, up until they scored their first goal. Like maybe 3. It was pitiful. It was embarrassing. Victor Hedman had a game. He's one of the best defensemen in the world. I saw something this morning that made me want to throw up. This is his 6th straight nomination for a Norris Trophy. That means he's been a top 3 defenseman for 6 straight years. That honestly is insane.
Honestly, I'm surprised it's not more than 6. If we're gonna be dead honest here, like he's been the best defenseman in the league for as long as I can remember, honestly.
For 6, like I understand that, but not having 1 year where you're number 4.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
You've been top 3 for. That's outrageous. That is so good.
He is so good.
He is so good.
Can I throw a hypothetical at you?
Huh.
If you redo that draft here, do you take Hedman over Tavares?
Oh God, yeah. Look at the fucking.
I was just wondering.
Do you think Tampa's upset that they got him at number 2 and not Tavares at number 1?
No.
No.
Oh no, yeah, that's not a shot at John Tavares. That's I think you had a dub either way with those two going 1-2.
Yes, absolutely. But so that's where I'm at with the Toronto Maple Leafs playoff series. I don't really have a whole lot else to say other than, you know what? It's 2-2. Fucking flush that game from last night. Go back home. Win. You have to win tomorrow. I think you have to win tomorrow if you're Toronto. If you let Tampa win tomorrow, it's over, I think.
Yeah, if you go back to Tampa down a game, done.
Yeah, I don't like the outcome there if we go back to Tampa down a game. So I think they have to come out flying tomorrow. And if the series, it's been that way the whole time, right? Like they've basically alternated bad games, the teams.
Yeah.
So I think one of these games they're both going to come out flying, and it's going to be a hell of a fucking hockey game.
Well, I think the big thing for that, if you're saying they're alternating bad games, Tampa's got that experience to kind of steady the ship, where the Leafs really don't. The Leafs, I mean, they choke, right? That's what they've done every year for fucking however many years now. Tampa's got that in them to calm it down and be like, okay, boys, like, we need to fucking get our shit
Yeah,
together.
but I disagree with that. I totally disagree with that. And the reason I disagree with that is Tampa got swept 4-0 by Columbus like 2 years ago, right? I know they've experienced a lot since then, but hockey is a game where anything can happen.
Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, if I had to bet on one of those teams, like, calming things down, getting things back to, standard, I would bet on the Tampa Bay Lightning to do it. You know what I mean?
Well,
Not saying the Leafs won't do it or the Leafs like can't do it, but
the only argument I have there is, you know what happens when you beat John Cooper? He acts like a little boy that got his toy stolen. So that's the one thing I have to say.
He's so good at play. He's got fucking Leafs fans wrapped around his fingers right now. It's really funny. And so you don't see this a lot in the NHL, but in soccer you see this a lot where the coaches fucking like talk shit and get people pissed off. He's got you guys right where he wants you.
I disagree. I'm not affected by John Cooper whatsoever.
Well, okay, you might not be, but like the media, like picking that up and carrying it and running with it is exactly what he wants, because he wants Toronto media picking up his quotes, and running them on fucking headlines and fucking have it be everywhere on TSN and fucking Sportsnet. That's what he wants, because he wants the Leafs and their players to see it, and it's really funny. It really, really is.
Yeah. No, I think he's just an arrogant, classless asshole, to be honest with you. But
I mean, I also don't think that's a incorrect statement either. I think both can be very true.
Yeah. Like I said, child who had his toy taken away after losing a game. Suck a dick, John. Anyway.
I did have just a couple little Habs things here. So Suzuki and Caulfield both declined invitations to go to the World, just to rest up, heal up, get ready to go for next season. Josh Anderson is going to represent Team Canada, and Jordan Harris and Habs prospect Sean Farrell, the one who's at Harvard and played at the Olympics for the U.S., are all going. So that'll be fun. Yeah,
that'll be something that you'll probably be watching and I won't be. So you can keep tabs on that for us. It's a nothing tournament, but
here's the thing. It's a nothing tournament, but it's always a fun tournament. And I mean, I think me and you're the same. We're like, if you put like hockey on TV, like, we're gonna watch it. Especially it's Hockey Canada. I'm gonna watch it regardless whether there are Habs there or not. Like,
I'll watch the final if Canada's in it.
Josh Anderson scored to score the golden goal. You want to bet a $5 on it?
Sure.
Cool. I'll add it to our fucking degenerate gambling list. Also, I owe you $20, by the way.
For what?
Because the Oilers won the Jets, the season series with the Jets, and for some reason we bet $20 on it at the beginning of the year. So you're welcome.
Nice. Nice. I might go get me some McDonald's.
Yeah, fuck.
Just kidding.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks, bud. Yeah, that was a gift for sure.
Anything else across the league you feel like talking about?
No, not really.
The big thing. The draft lottery's tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, no, that's not what I was thinking about when you said big thing.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
The big thing is, for some reason, Lou Lamoriello fired Barry Trotz today.
I did not know that.
You didn't know that? You're finding that out for the first time right now?
No, I went to work this morning. I don't check my phone when I'm at work. Like, and I wouldn't have like any notifications or anything for fucking Islanders news. You know what I mean? And then I got home from work. We fucking started going, and shit.
2020 conference final, 2021 conference final, both times losing to the eventual Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning. Missed the playoffs 1 year with an absolutely disastrous roster that Lou Lamoriello built, and gets fired.
That's rough.
That is outrageous that they fired him. That is so crazy. There's no, like, I don't know. You're not going to find out. Like, I promise you next year, I promise you they do not beat their record from this year. I promise. No. There's no way.
Like, unless they like assembled the greatest, like had like one of the greatest off seasons in NHL history.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They have 2 UFAs. They don't have any room to add.
Yeah. No.
And one of them is Zdeno Chara. Yeah, I that one was a head scratcher for me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't get that at all.
Like that.
Like he had them playing really, really good hockey.
There's no, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Obviously, like, you have exit interviews and stuff. And, like, maybe the players gave them a bad vibe about him.
Like, maybe, or maybe, like, I don't see who you're bringing in that is going to be better than Barry Trotz, if we're being quite honest. You know, because that was one of the things with the Habs and Marty St. Louis was like, you know, who is going to be available? And, like, there really aren't any big names up until now with Barry Trotz being available, but like I don't see how you upgrade from him currently.
That's what I mean. Like, you give anybody that's available right now the opportunity to coach that team, I promise you they're not going to finish with a better record. There's no way.
No, like that's just where's Barry Trotz go now? Because I know there's a bunch of teams that need coaches.
Teams are going to bow out of this playoff run to hire this guy. Like, actually.
At the Edmonton Oilers.
Man, some names that I was hearing were, first of all, Winnipeg is an interesting one.
Oh, yeah.
The Detroit Red Wings.
All part of the Yzer plan?
Came to mind for me. What?
All part of the Yzer plan.
All part of the Yzer plan, exactly. It's anything like the Shanna plan, they better not hold their breath.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna just judge by this year and kind of what they got going, I'm gonna trust the Yzer plan.
Yeah. Well, they've been drafting well, right?
Right, exactly right. I think Edmonton is still going to be looking for a coach at the end of the year. I think their guy's still just an interim coach.
Yeah, but I think he'll be a big part of that. Like, I don't think they're upset. I think they like him. Jay Woodcroft?
Yeah, that's the guy. But Barry Trotz is available.
Yeah, no, I know. It just doesn't even make any sense.
Like I mean, like Marty St. Louis hasn't like officially signed his extension. I'm sitting here thinking like I wouldn't be upset if we brought in Barry Trotz.
That's what I mean.
Like he is an upgrade. Like he is one of the best coaches in the league. I don't think he lasts more than 10 days. Unless he wants to wait till the end of the playoffs and let things cool down. But if he wants to keep coaching the NHL and wants a job right away, like yeah, he'll get one in the next 10 days, no problem.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Anyway, I don't think there's a whole lot more to talk about this week. We're at about 40 minutes now anyway. We're about that. It's about that time. But obviously, huge game tomorrow in Toronto. Huge game tomorrow in Toronto.
Huge night tomorrow in Montreal.
Yeah, the draft lottery as well. Yeah. But yeah, we should be able to get this one out by 7, eh?
Oh yeah.
Okay, mint. So yeah, I'm a distraught Leafs fan right now. That's how it is.
It's that time of year.
It's that time of year, baby. That time of year. But yeah, golfing season's kicked off, so I've been in my element. Played my first 9 holes of the year today. It was fun. It was awesome. Anyway, thank you everybody to listening. Thank you to the Game Entertainment and Media for hosting us on their platform and partnering with us. Obviously, we always appreciate that. We will see you next Sunday, back on Sunday with episode 9 or 59. 59. God, episode 59. And the week after that was 60. Hopefully there's still something to talk about. Anyways, thanks everybody. Talk to you later.